wasn't perfect, but I was like, let me just get this okay shot, because I'd rather get like 4 okay scenes than 1 perfect scene, because 4 okay scenes equals a story. 1 perfect scene is like, these people are so kind to wait. I'm sorry.
So having a variety of camera angles and shots in your videos is obviously good. So the question is, how do you know what camera angles and shots to use and when? So now in Casey's How to Vlog video, he touches on this briefly, just not in the amount of details that I would have preferred.
So what I try to do is have an equal amount of handheld, locked off shots. Locked off means on a tripod like this, and then establishing shot.
So my problem is that it's really simplified and it's good for remembering things, but surely he uses more shots than the 3 that he mentioned, right? So today let's take a look at not only what he says, but what he actually does in his vlogs. We'll take a look at both Casey's run and gun style of his daily vlog days versus the more recent videos where, in theory, he should have a lot more time to premeditate on.
Did you mention my YouTube channel?
And if you're new here, my name is King. We do this quite often where we break down tips and tricks on how to create awesome story-driven vlogs. And with that said, let's just get into it. Wide and establishing shots. Traditionally, the focus of these type of shots is the location. So naturally, in these type of shots, you're not taking up most of the screen. The location where you are actually takes center stage, so the viewer can understand where you are within that. And here are a few examples of how Casey used it in his most recent video. He shows us a wide shot of the studio first, before entering the space, and then talking to the camera once he's actually closer. Then a little later, he shows us a shot of where Hella, the guy who's running to New York, is actually staying at the moment.
No way! Did you not know that I was coming?
It's Casey Neistat! And before the run, he shows us just how far New York actually is from their current location. And when he's ready to run, he shows us the wide shot of the trailer and then him coming out of it. And finally, a drone shot to show all the festivities that are around him and this event. So you'd think that capturing these type of shots would be obvious. Except these are the type of shots that end up really lacking in my videos because I think they're a little bit unintuitive to capture. Because unlike your normal handheld or locked off shots where you just point and shoot, you kind of have to go put down your camera somewhere and then leave it behind in order to capture a wide shot with you in it. But if you can add these type of shots into your video, in theory, it should give you the most bang for your buck in terms of variety, because most of your other shots is probably you being pretty close to the camera. So, and of course, if you have a drone and you're allowed to fly it.
Here's something very important. No one gives a shit about your stupid time lapses, your stupid drone shots. That's something I have to remind myself on a daily basis.
So he does go on to say that, you know, they do serve a bigger purpose if you were to use it for the right reason. One is giving the viewer a broader sense of where you are, which we've kind of talked about with the wide shot. But to be honest, seeing these type of shots doesn't make you want to get a drone for yourself if you don't have one already. And 2, it's great for transitioning from one scene to another, where there's not a lot of continuity. For example, check out this sequence of 3 shots where Casey adds a transition in between each of them.
On the other side of security, Francine. I didn't put her through the machine. Francine, are you behaving?
Honestly, I quite like this. It's cheap, but it's effective. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that Friends the show does when it goes from location to location.
And I hope Barry doesn't kill you and eat you in Aruba. You okay?
And also just one more note, that by the nature of shooting away from whatever you were shooting before as a transition, even when it's not a drone and even when it's not time-lapse, it automatically sort of implies time passage. It's just the way things work.
Locked off shots, locked off means on a tripod like this. These locked off shots let you, the viewer, forget about the camera for a second and focus on what I'm saying and the environment that I'm in.
So yes, we just talked about the wide shot being the type of shot that you want to use in terms of capturing what the location is. However, just because you have your shots locked off does not mean automatically the viewer is going to focus on what you're saying. The distance you are from your camera does matter. Let me explain. When you're far away from the camera, showing from head to toe, This is called a faux shot. Naturally, because you're farther away, your face is not as prominent on the screen, so the focus will be on your overall body movement, your overall physicality. So if you want to show off some sort of action and movements that you're doing, this would be a great shot to use. But if you want the viewer to focus on what you're saying, then you should probably move in a little closer. So this is basically a medium shot. So there's a little bit of space above your head that cuts off right around the chest area. This distance here most resembles how far you might be from someone you're having a casual conversation with. So this is great for a neutral, talking to the camera in a casual way type of situation. But if you want something a little bit more dramatic, then you gotta move a little closer. So this is where your eye line is about the top line of the rule of thirds, and your head may or may not be cut off. By showing the viewer mostly your face, what ends up happening is that the focus becomes not only what you say, but the feelings and expressions that you have while saying it. So use a close-up when you want the viewer to really pay attention to what you're about to say.
You started running in Los Angeles how long ago?
March 1st, so exactly today, 84 days ago.
And you've run 3,000 miles.
Over 3,000 miles. We're gonna be like 3,100.
And just every day hitting it, go.
But I know what you're thinking. What about like B-roll? The same rule really applies to whatever your subject is. The shots that we talked about from wide, medium to close-up, I sort of think about this in a spectrum. The further your subject is away from the camera, the more it is about sort of the overall physicality of the subject in that location. As you get closer, you start to pay attention to more of the details inside. And if you get really close on close-ups, then you're telling the viewer to really pay attention to specific pieces of information. And finally, handheld. Now again, everything that we've talked about so far in terms of establishing shots, full shots, medium shots, close-ups, completely applies the same way when it's handheld. The only difference is that it's not on a tripod. But, as Casey would say,
Cinematography part 2. Hold the camera steady. No one wants to watch super shaky cinematography. It hurts your brain, it's hard to see what's going on, it's not pleasurable for you the viewer, and it's not easy for me the editor to put it together. If it's super shaky, if it's nonsensical, it goes straight in the trash.
so obviously it's a lot easier to hold a camera still when it's on a tripod. But having it handheld, even though it could be shaky, does have some benefits.
And then the handheld shots like this enable you to sort of feel the spontaneity and the urgency that is whatever's taking place in my daily life.
And as a solo filmmaker or vlogger, this type of shots are really important because it's not like you have, a cameraman following around, shooting you while you're talking and panning at the same time. These are the only way that you can really add movement to your shots. So it could just be you walking, or maybe you're driving, or the classic Casey shot.
But no.
I feel like we can get through here. You just have to watch your elbows. Did you hit?
Just my bag.
So the same applies for the POV shots. You're just turning the camera away from you so that we can see, as the audience, what you see. David Dobrik uses a ton of these type of shots in his vlogs because they kind of want you to be right there with them. And when something happens, they want you to feel like you're part of the group.
Check that microwave. Open it. Can you pretend like you're trying to get into Karina's pants real quick? Go. Oh! I actually have surprise merch for Todd. This is his first time seeing it. Karina, come in! Turn around in 3, 2, go. You've been iced!
And Casey often uses this type of shots to ask Candace embarrassing or awkward questions.
How old are you?
Can't remember.
Come on, people can Google it. How old are you, Candace Poole?
So next time when you know something funny is gonna happen, try out POV shots. And if you're inspired by Casey's vlogs, you might be interested in more storytelling techniques and secrets that I go over in this video. I go over some ideas on how he constructs his stories, tell it, and sort of edit together. So if that's something that you're interested in, check it out. Until then, be blessed, and I'll see you later.